Okay, guys, welcome back to the Truth Factor, where we do headlines with an attitude. For those of you who joined me earlier for these headlines on Bible, we covered some of this, but we didn't cover all of them. We shared the headlines because we prayed about the situations that were occurring and things of that nature. So for those that joined me earlier for Bible, thank you guys. God bless you. God loves you and I love you. I want to just welcome you back. We're going to go ahead and just get right into this. I've got to run to the store and then I'm going to go to bed. I've been up since early and I got an early start in the morning. We're doing this. We're starting that. If I will, he will. Prayer challenge is what I'm going to call it on December 1st. But we've started trying to get everybody acclimated here in this house and those around, that want to join us in the morning, get used to us getting up and starting prayer and a little scripture and all that good jazz. So anyway, hope to see you in the morning. It's going to be between 6:30 and 7 something. Anyway, God bless you. I love you. And let's get into these headlines. Hey there, Miss Carol. How are you, sister?
Tired.
I know, I'm tired too. We're going to go get that cucumber and we're going to go to bed. And your dad's tea. Okay, so. Okay. All right. First, we have this American force makes a landing in Yemen. American troops are operating in Yemen, according to the chief of Yemen Coast Guard. An American force carried out a landing operation to free the oil ship that was seized in the Gulf of Aden. The vessel named Central Park is shown below in a file photo and was apparently loaded with cargo from Israel en route to China. But this detail is not yet confirmed and is unclear. When the person said carried out a landing, we are not yet certain if he means flew onto a ship by helicopter or came ashore by boats as an amphibious landing. More info as I get it. The ship was liberated during the operation and pirates were arrested. I'm sure a lot of people are jumping up and down joy for joy there. We have the Manhattan Bridge is occupied by Palestinian supporters. This is Hal Turner. Thousands of pro-Palestinian protesters are occupying the Manhattan, bringing traffic to a halt and forcing a shutdown. 1,000 or more pro-Palestinian protesters and activists are occupying and shutting down the Manhattan Bridge in New York City, bringing traffic to a halt as they are blocking cars and other vehicles from entering or leaving. Protesters are demanding a permanent end to all the U.S. military aid to Israel, chanting U.S. out of the Middle East and the war in Gaza. The New York City Police Department is advising everyone to avoid the area with mass arrest expected. Here's a little video. We're not going to do it. Then at 5:23, he did an update. It said organizers have declared that they won't leave until there is secure permanent ceasefire, emphasizing that the police are overwhelmed. The state that the NYPD hasn't encountered a situation like this in decades, with protesters pledging to continue to block the Manhattan Bridge. I don't know why they say in decades, because it seems like just last year or a couple of years, we've had a lot of these other protests taking place, even there in Manhattan, because of, the George Floyd thing. But, maybe I bumped my head. Maybe there wasn't, I don't know, but I seem to recall a lot of smash and go type things, rioting and looting taking place, but maybe I was in a different area, I don't know. Anyway, go figure. There's a stupid fly on my screen that is driving me crazy, guys. I don't want to spray the fly spray on it, but it's getting on my nerves. It's just standing around and it's getting on my nerves. Anyway, all right. Then we have China has just confronted a U.S. warship as tensions continue to grow. China military said it has driven a U.S. warship from waters it claims in the South China Sea at the weekend and accused the United States of being the biggest destroyer of peace and stability in the region. The incident highlighted the tensions in a flashpoint region and was the first of such confrontation since Chinese President Xi Jinping and Biden met on the sidelines of an Asian Pacific summit in San Francisco earlier this month and reported progress on some of the issues that have strained ties between the global rivals. China's state-run People's Daily quoted senior Colonel Tin Junel, spokesman for the People's Liberation Army Southern Theater Command, as saying that just gets me every time I see it. Because of course, I say that this is all definitely theatrics, and it is scripted, right? As saying the guided missile destroyer, the USS Hopper, had entered China's territorial waters illegally on Saturday, and it said that the incident occurred near the Parcel Islands, which China calls Zishia Islands. The Theater Command has organized and naval forces to follow and monitor it and drove it away according to the law. He was quoted as saying, Tian sharply criticized the United States, labeling the actions a serious violation of China's sovereignty and security. Tian described the United States as a security risk maker in the South China Sea and the biggest destroyer of peace and stability in the region. He said troops in the region would remain on high alert. China claims over almost the entirety of the South China Sea have long been a point of contention, bringing it into a confrontation not only with the United States, but also with other regional claimants, including the Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei. Beijing has consistently rejected the 2016 ruling by the Permanent Court of Arbitration, which stated that China's claim in the South China Sea have no legal basis. Anyway, it seems like there's just something going on everywhere. Everywhere. We also have the U.S. ramping up production of plutonium pits for nuclear weapons. Imagine that, guys. Imagine. On one side of the U.S., on New York, Staten Island, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers began this month to remove radioactive remnants of Robert Oppenheimer's Manhattan Project that produced the atomic bomb that ended the Second World War. Meanwhile, 2,000 miles away at the Los Alamos National Laboratory, north of Santa Fe in New Mexico, on the same site that developed and assembled the bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, work is being ramped up to produce plutonium pits, spherically shells about the size of bowling balls that are a vital component of warheads in the U.S. nuclear arsenal. Both in their own way tell the story of the nuclear age. Still one historic housekeeping in 1939, 1,200 tons of high-grade uranium ore was purchased and transferred from Belgian Congo to the Staten Island, where there are still traces of radioactive contamination, and the other is far more controversial and very current. Both arrive as a concern over the conflict involving the use of nuclear weapon rises, increases geopolitical tensions with Russia and military expansionists. China is behind a 1.5 ton I guess that's trillion, U.S. effort to modernize the U.S. nuclear arsenal, including tens of billions of dollars to replace aging silo-launched Minuteman intercontinental ballistic missiles stationed in Wyoming, Montana, and North Dakota, with the successor in the Sentinel. But this prospect of placing new missiles with potential more warheads in the U.S. heartland is under scrutiny for its logic. Why plant $100 billion nuclear kick-me sign on the country's breadbasket? Asked the author of a report in the Scientific American this month. For 2 decades, the Pentagon and the Congress have been concerned about the U.S. ability to produce the cores of the nuclear warheads, including the plutonium pits. Since 1989, the U.S. has not been able to produce pits and quantities required to refresh or renew stockpile of 3,708 warheads. About 1,770 warheads are deployed and 1,938 are held in reserve. The issue is that plutonium degrades over time, but estimates vary on how quickly or at what point the pits become too soft to be usable. Most are likely 40-plus-year-old, but some studies say that they could be good up to 80 years. The Livermore Lab in Northern California announced in Northern California announced in 2012 that it had found no unexpected aging issues in the plutonium, but it has been accelerated to an equivalent of 150 years age. According to The Guardian, in 18, the National Nuclear Security Administration produced a plan to meet the Defense Department's goal of 80 pits a year by maximizing production lines of Los Alamos and converting the plant near the Savannah River in South Carolina, originally built to dispose of 34 tons of Cold War era plutonium deemed unneeded by nuclear weapon program. But the project was unsuccessful and canceled in 2020. According to the Scientific American report, the first 800 new pits would go to a Sentinel program, and then 1,900 U.S. submarine launched missiles would be refreshed. The new warheads would also be shock resistant or insensitive to accidental detonation that could disperse plutonium. But there is now no pit production expertise at the South Carolina facility, and cost estimates have already grown from $3.6 billion to over $11 billion for a third fewer pits in January. The Government Accounting Office warned that NASA's plutonium modernization program have not developed either a comprehensive schedule or a cost estimate that meets the GAO best practices. Mercy. Then we also have from End Time Headlines, guys. Transgender suspect threatens to rape Christian girls and inject HIV in those wearing crosses. Now, guys, I'm not going to read this because this is just one of those things. I'll tell you that Willie is a 47-year-old from Nashville, Illinois, allegedly made the Maccabee threats and online videos and during streaming video calls in a ghastly threat from Illinois to Virginia. Willie purportedly vowed to commit a school shooting. We're out here walking into your school, shooting your children. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be one of them. And an FBI isn't going to stop me, but I'm going to kill your children out here, Willie declared, according to the indictment. There's a lot of transgender out here that are tired of being picked on. We're going to go into these schools and we're going to kill their effing children. We're going to stop there, guys. But he goes on and he gets a little more foul and everything else. And you can just only imagine why I don't want to continue to reading this. But it's very graphic. It's disgusting. But I pray that, that they have done their due diligence, and have, it says indicted. So apparently he's been in the indictment right there. So apparently, he's been indicted. So hopefully they will get this gentleman help. And according to the indictment in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Illinois, Willie reportedly disparaged Black Americans. Well, imagine. So here we are, guys. We have got to we've got to pray for this man, pray for the mentally ill. But I do pray that this person gets help. I truly do. But I also pray for the protection of women, children, everybody that could be a target. For their faith, of course, and just a target in general. I mean, it's absolutely just horrible. Then we also have, let's take a break real quick. I got to take me a drink, guys. Let's see what's going on. You can make a mountain out of a molehill. I hear you, Jeff. I hear you, honey. I hear you. Let's see. Hey there, Carol, again. You're doing a talk at your church about prepping for emergencies. That's awesome, Carol. I know you will give them all that they need. Hello, Daryl. How are you, honey? Watchmen. Let's see. Let's see. Anyway, all right. Just wanted to check on y'all, see if there's anything in here. All right. Anyway, so apparently we have multiple women interrupt a flight with screaming, singing, and crawling over seats, causing claims of demonic possession. Guys, it is getting crazy out there. Multiple women allegedly interrupted a recent flight with screaming, singing, and even crawling over seats, causing claims of demonic possession. A 3-hour flight from Houston, Texas to Denver, Colorado was delayed by 3 hours, including a stop in Dallas, Texas, after multiple women interrupted a flight stemming from one woman's apprehension. There's a video of the incident titled "My Little Sister's First Experience Flying by Herself on Frontier." Purportedly took place on the Frontier Airlines flight. It began with the woman already being subdued by security, screaming desperately for the guards to let go of her arm. After about a minute of the woman crying while she was taken to the front of the plane, the video cut to a man arguing with security from his seat. At the same time, the previously apprehended woman began an attempted escape toward the back of the plane, crawling and falling over 3 seats of passengers. Wow. Soon thereafter, a second woman appeared toward the back of the plane and began yelling in an apparent objection to the first woman who caused the alleged delay. Straight Texas style, "I'm going to beat your you-know-what," the woman in sunglasses and bandana screamed at. Not 45 seconds later, a third woman emerged into the aisle and attempted to explain to her fellow passengers what was happening. This is not happening for no reason. This is actual evidence. And there is a real devil that wants to kill each and every one of y'all, including your family members, she explained. That's not her. She's possessed. She needs help, the woman wearing the inside-out beanie declared. "I'm only telling y'all because all hell is about to break loose, and you're getting the evidence of it," she continued before moving toward the front of the plane. Once at the front, the woman turned around and began singing to the detained woman as the situation escalated. I bet that was one crazy ride, guys. Absolutely. But obviously, we've got demons just, I guess, coming out in groves now, you know, really kind of crazy. I know I wouldn't want my kid on an airplane like that. And then we also have this from the Irish Times: a bacterial infection causing concern in China detected in Ireland. First Irish outbreak of the mycoplasma pneumonia in a number of years occurred in October. Health Protection Surveillance Center warns. A bacterial infection implicated in the surge in respiratory illness in China is on the rise in the community in Ireland, authorities have confirmed. An outbreak of the mycoplasma pneumonia notified the Health Protection Surveillance Center last month was the first in a number of years, it said. A recent spike in respiratory illness and a cluster of pneumonia in children in China led to an official request for the World Health Organization last week for more information. It also stoked unpleasant memories of the origins of the 19 pandemic in the same country in late 19. China says it has not yet detected any unusual or new diseases on this occasion and has attributed the rise in illness to the 19 respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, and mycoplasma pneumonia. Avery, while information remains scant, the situation is being monitored by Irish authorities, including the HPSC and the New Emerging Health Threats Agency, led by Professor Mary Horgan. Flu and 19 levels remain relatively low in Ireland at present, but an early wave of RSV similar to that experienced last year is putting pressure on children's hospitals. Almost 300 people were hospitalized with RSV earlier this month, almost all of them infants. Mycoplasma pneumonia is not notifiable disease in Ireland or in European countries, according to the HPSC. However, outbreaks of mycoplasma pneumonia are notifiable. One community outbreak was notified in October, the first in a number of years. It said there has been an increase in detection of the bug by GPs, with 6 cases notified in October and 9 in November. So far this year, there have been 19 cases compared to just 1 in 2022. There are still a small number, the HPSC said. Detections in hospitals remain a low level, with 13 cases notified so far this compared to 77 in 22. A slight increase has been noted since September. Mycoplasma pneumonia is a bacterium that causes lung infection and is common cause of pneumonia. Cases are more common in summer and early autumn, with peak of disease every 3 to 7 years. So anyway, guys, RSV and this pneumonia that is definitely affecting children. And it seems that we reported earlier, that there was a situation in China, and now there seems to be something brewing there in Ireland. We are just going to take a really quick look and see if there's been anything else really quick before we end the stream, guys, just because, I like to make sure there's no updates. I got everything out. There's been so many things changing so quickly tonight. I just wanted to make sure we had everything. You just saw a training about dealing with the person who thinks another person is possessed. Absolutely. There is I would say there's probably a lot of demons floating out there. And I would say that anybody that's on any of those things are probably demon possessed to begin with, because there is, I don't know, spirits and alcohol and things of such. So I could see there could be spirits and other things as well, if you know what I mean, Miss Carol. It is germ warfare. That's what I say absolutely about about all of it, Daryl. I think that there's a lot of stuff that is taking place. Face turquoise covering eyes. A nuclear kick me sign. Absolutely, right? Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think anybody's really concerned with Kim Jong-un, but he's out there still trying to kick and scream a little bit, maybe. Like he always does. Anyway, guys. Alrighty. Yeah. Yep. All right, guys. I love y'all. We do. We love you. I hope y'all have the rest of the night. Enjoy it. God bless y'all. And we will see you guys later.